Wellness Wednesday, and welcome to Native Wellness Institute's Power Hour. It's where we come to you live for an hour with positive, productive, and proactive dialogue. And I was just, I had some root, and this isn't about, I'm not. This root's very powerful. So, Hyostapatapi, Hyoninda, Hyonapinatusi, Hyokita Piwa. Okay, I came out naga Spomokana, Wade McGee, Spomokana, Colville, Coeur d'Alene, Spomokana, the Cherokee people, Spomokana, the 200 plus Métis First Nations, Spomokana, the 574 tribes in the lower 48, Spomokana, the villages in Alaska, Spomokana, the Aboriginal in Australia, Spomokana, the Maori in Aotearoa, New Zealand, Spomokana, the Ukrainians, Gaza, all the people of color who are in distress. Istapatapi, we just ask you to come and be with us today, to give us little pieces of joy, to give us food, to give us a roof over our head, a good place to sleep, a calm, no drama place to sleep, and to remember our dreams. So I just wanted to kind of connect that way, where woohoo! I swear. And I've been having this cough. I don't feel sick, no fever, negative. And so I think I'm going through a healing cycle. In our team, Native Wellness Institute, we're doing we're on the second day. We've got a lot of people on a Zoom. So I just got off a Zoom. I just got off a Zoom on wellness in the workplace. So it's like got my head full because we just created a safe space. And our participants are just beginning to feel safe enough to say what's going on and what we're at the point where it's like conflict resolution kind of stuff and how do you work through it. So I'm shifting gears, and that's, I went over those of you, welcome to Wellness Wednesday, and those of you who follow us each week, I that I got the buffalo that I won in the lottery, the buffalo head mounted. So I got it here in the living room, and I also have a buffalo hide. I was just there's just so many good positive things going on. Some of our Ganaxdemada and East Glacier are building a sweat today. They're going to sweat because we have beaver bundles, thunder pipe bundles coming up this weekend. And there's like this structure of prayer. And I think that's, part of my topic today is look at the teachings of your ancestors. Look at what your ancestors did, with the cycle of the seasons. And we're moving into, and some places, depending on the region, we're getting to get good weather. We're getting to see all of the signs of birds, beavers, horses. I mean, it's so much new. And I was just mesmerized this morning because the butterflies were coming. I'm looking out my back window towards the lake, and there was butterflies and bees, and it's like the animals and maybe it's the pollen. I don't know, but it feels good. So I just took a break, and I went and put the sun on my face. And yesterday I went to Leaning Tree. And they said 2 pounds, but this was a big ribeye steak. I swear. So it's turning into 3 meals for me. One I had there, and this is how my family takes care of me over at Leaning Tree. Doug Ironpipe Fitzgerald just came in and he goes, "What you want to watch, Auntie?" And I go, "What do you think I should watch?" He goes, "Watch my favorite show, The Last of the Dogmen." So what does he do? I'm sitting at the family table. He turns on Last of the Dogmen because he knows me well enough. And Taylor's cooking my steak and brought me a giant, beautiful, fresh salad. And I just enjoyed it, and I kind of like kicked back, and I started watching that movie with my first cousin Steve Rivas, who is no longer on the earth. And then I was looking at all the Northern Cheyenne, because like they've all kind of grown up. So I was really studying because they used real Indians, and even that Berenger, Tom Berenger. I remember when he was making that film, and he was an ally. Ally is a verb. Ally is a verb. And there we were talking about that on our wellness in the workplace. And so remember, ally is a verb. And Tom Berenger, I remember, he got so into being an ally, and he wanted to advocate for the well-being of Northern Cheyenne and tribes. He even Sundance. Lee Lone Bear, at that time Lee was alive, and all of their holy people. When you take a non-native and you put him in Sundance, make him drag skulls, make him pierce, eh? That's what. If you really want to be an ally, drag skulls. Anyway, if you really want to be an ally, let me pierce you and tie you to the center pole, eh? If you really want to be an ally, fast for 8 days and 8 nights with no water and food, and pray for our people. Eh? Anyway, I guess I'm in that place where I'm just a participant. I'm just one, enrolled member on the Blackfeet Reservation, but I'm also a participant. I realize with Native Wellness Institute, we have different generations. We're all Native board, all Native staff, all Native consultants, but we have grandmas and grandpas, and then we have down to, we've got really young, and then we have young and upcoming, like I swear, some of our grandchildren, or some of our youth that that come to our events. They're just turning into wellness warriors. And they were all out there. I swear, May 5th. Shout out to all of you who wore your red dresses, who had your red dresses hanging all around town, who had your your red paint on your face. There was we had a peaceful march through Browning, Montana. It was just so beautiful. We had to do it because most of it's grassroots and everyone volunteers. That means they don't get paid. They're just the families. So we had this walk, and it was as we were walking with our loved ones' picture, and we were marching through, Main Street in Browning, Montana. Everybody was honking. Woohoo! Everybody was like, right on! Awareness for missing and murdered persons. Right? And, it was... And then it was so festive because they put on a big meal at the Heritage Center, and then we just got to visit with the families. And it was just so good because one of the family members, she said, I'm done crying for right now. I just cried to all my snots. When you're done crying, it's when all your snots have come out, eh? And she said, but I just listened to her. And I'd heard her tell, but I listened to her again. And I just went, uh-huh. Uh-huh. And then I said, is it okay if I hug you? And then we would hug really tight. And I'd just say, I love you. And then she would go on, and I listened to the story. I listened to, the investigators. I listened to the frustration over and over. And I'd go, uh-huh. 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 Is that okay if I hug you? And then we'd hug again, and I'd hold her really tight. Hug your relatives. Hold them really tight. Just tell them you love them. Just tell them you love them. So then she kept talking, and this went on for quite a while, and I just went, uh-huh. Uh-huh. And I go, is it okay if we hug again? And I think about it now, and it gives me tears because all we can do right now is take care of ourselves, take care of the people around us, take care of our relatives. And when we see them hurting, because in that case, her daughter was murdered and nothing has been done about it. How do you tell a mother that her daughter has been murdered and nothing's being done about that? That's why, this is Wellness Wednesday. I'm coming to you. There's there's the flow of healing. There's the flow of tragedy. There's the flow of joy. I was just all my relatives that are graduating from high school, graduating from college, they're just, it's that time, it's springtime, it's renewal, it's like we're all starting over. And of course, I always get attached to my mother and say, Mom, what do you want to go to? So she's looking. We're having like a family gathering on Friday for Jude Revis. He's a senior in high school, and it's just so funny because I'm like his badass auntie, but he's like 1.5 feet taller than me now, and I don't know how that happened. I don't know. How did he just become like from a baby to a boy to this young man? And you know what? I see him walking with integrity. I see him walking with that young manness where he sees the world before him. And this came through athleticism. This came through sport. This came through being a star basketball player, but it came through Indian relay. It came through taking care of horses. It came from the spirit of Ponakamata, the horse medicine. And I can just see him. And, and I want to remind you, do we look through a trauma lens or do we look through a healing lens? Because my prayer for like that little relative, big relative, is that he has a long, healthy life. A long, healthy life. So one of the things that we can do right now is anyone, that is hooked up to tubes somewhere, or anyone that's in the hospital, or say they need to go to the hospital, but because of the trauma, they won't go get checked out. Pray that they have a long, healthy life, and then let it go for the day. Pray that they have all the good things of good food, good sleep, remembering their dreams, of laughter, of, all the synchronicity, of all the good energy. And I just, do you like my tie? I got this from one of my Ganaxton Madao brothers, and I got it for a gift, and then I put it on top of my dance outfit, and I go, hey, anyway, I'm wearing it today because it makes me laugh. One of my longtime friends was A. Billy Jones, and he was from the Caribbean, and we were part of a team in 1990 to 1997. Billy's gone now, and bless his heart, but he used to always say that ties, whoever wears a tie, and cracks me up. He said, whoever wears a tie, they're pointing to where they really want you to look, between their legs. Oh my God, Billy used to say that all the time. So I think I have one other tie, and it's like got diamonds on it. But anyway, I have this tie, so I decided it's springtime. I'm gonna wear something bold, and it's our strawberry ceremonies, the female strawberry, so my wampum brother made these, and so I was just, and then of course, wherever I go, it's you're on Indian land, eh? We're on Indian land. Everywhere you are is on Indian land, Look around, Indian land, Indian land, Indian land. We're on Indian land. And whoever's thinks that they own it, they can take it with them when they go. The land is still ours. And take advantage of the land, go out. I mean, just check this out. Just 2 days, the green grass just popped up. And I have to again see if my lawnmower will work. But look at the water. Look at the color of the water. I was talking with my mom. I said, "Mom, you know what? I can tell by the color of the water what time of the year it is. I could tell, and now it looks kind of like the ocean, and I go, Mom, is it because it reflects from the sky?" And she said it takes on all from underneath the water. And I said, and sometimes it's a little bit aqua, sometimes it's a little bit green. And anyway, I was just see how you can get mesmerized by that. Take a walk outside. Gene Tagabon always says, kick off your shoes and put the bottom of your feet on the earth. And so that's, I guess this is where I've been doing my Zoom, because rather than, look at a wall or anything else, this is my view. And I noticed how it uplifted me the whole time. We went all day facilitating. We got some people from Treaty 6 area. We have the Minnesota Indigenous Women's Resource Center, a bunch of their staff, some people from Saboba. We just have this diversity, and thank you, Shailene and Tomas and Jean Tagabon. We're stepping up, and we're just doing this online training of wellness in the workplace. And I just want to make a note, because I don't want to go to sobbing or crying. I'm going to ask you to pray for our colleague Wade McGee. Wade had a heart attack a couple of days ago, and they've got him sedated, and they had to revive him, and they're going to take off the respirator pretty soon here to see if his body will take care of itself. So please, I have faith. I know that if we ask you to say a prayer for Wade McGee, married to Debbie McGee, Lavina Louie's brother-in-law. And so when that happened, it's taken all of us in Native Wellness, because that's our brother, that's our uncle, that's our grandpa. All of us were so close to him. We're just saying prayers. And so I'm going to ask you to do that. And we come on here. We tell you some of the, what we're facing and what are some of the things that are before us. And we promise to be here every Wednesday. So we come on. So I wanted to talk about, it's fresh in my mind. Our group was talking about, how do you resolve conflict when you have conflict? What is the communication? What is the identification of the conflict? And so think about this for a minute, whether it's, between you and a loved one, a spouse or a partner, or it's between you and a sibling or someone in kinship, or it's at your workplace, or it's a fight within yourself. Sometimes I always tease my one friend Don Ami, because anyway, I just always tease him because he's full-blood Hopi, and so I always tease him that if he was part Navajo, he'd be a fight inside. Anyway, it's kind of like, they always Shoshone and Arapaho on Wind River. There's always a battle, or they took us when we normally, and it doesn't mean necessarily conflict, but they would take 2 or 3 tribes, Colville, 12 bands, and they put them all together, hoping that they would just fight it out, right? But how do we resolve some of that? And so I encourage you, and these are the encouraging words, is first resolve it in your heart. Resolve it to the visual, just like with Wade right now. For some reason, I can see us training together later this year. And I can see, and I was, he's very meticulous about his hair and how it's braided. And he always presents himself, like how your coach would in football. And he's always very manicured and taken care of. So I'm imagining him. And this transformation, and that we're just helping people heal. And so that's kind of like the visual. So in resolving conflict, I was in one small breakout group, and you have to have a safe place in order to resolve conflict. It was such a safe place. They kind of whispered what was going on, how they organized the event, and no one said anything till the day of, and then bitched and complained. And then and then the next person just said that there has been such, because of the bigger picture, and the way that funds are kind of fluid within the federal government, that it's caused this undue stress. Don't let it cause the stress in you. Don't let them, because that's their intention, is to cause confusion and to cause it in you so that you don't do a frickin' thing. So start with your heart. Start with, what do you need to forgive, that situation, that person, that job, that, and even, there was discussion yesterday. We had a discussion when you bow out and you don't do the fight anymore. It actually takes courage to walk away and go work somewhere else. And I'm not going to use the word quit, because Indians kind of get upset with quit. Don't quit, don't quit, don't quit. But sometimes you have to walk away from situations and start something new. And if it's not good for your mental health, then you got to make a plan to walk away and to find a different path. I was thinking, and it's always good to tell tangible stories. I was one of Native Wellness Institute. This is maybe like 15 years ago or so. We were called in because there was the tribal council, and then there was the gaming commission, and the council had hired us to resolve this within the gaming commission because they hadn't had a quorum in a year, and things were stuck. And the beauty of it is there was 16 players involved. And so we went in, and my co-facilitator, a man and female, we got to see, we interviewed all 16 of them to see their version. And then we brought them all 16 together, and there was resolution. And part of the resolution is the two individuals that were in power, they triggered each other. And then it was found out, that there was resemblance to someone in their past. So there had to be reconciliation of an apology and acceptance of an apology. So think about that. Do you need to apologize to someone and they need to accept it? Do you need to apologize to yourself? As an elder and getting older, I was apologizing to myself, like the schedule that I used to keep myself on. And it was almost like a workaholism, but the schedule. And now I'm apologizing, but the action is that I take time. They're just mental health days. A few of those are coming up where I am just doing joyful things. I am just doing fun things. I am just, the other day, I haven't done that in a while. I stayed in my pajamas all day. I stayed in my pajamas all day and I watched Ancient Aliens. This is one of my favorite shows. And I ate good food. It's just like right now, for my mental health, I had thawed a sirloin tip, an elk steak. And it's real. Elk meat is very tender. And it was the elk that my nephew, Doug Ironpipe Fitzgerald, had gotten for my mom and Lori and I. So I thought it out, and so I create for this day, this 24 hours, joyful things. And so I just put the steak in. I put it in some foil, and I always use one of the things because I'm cutting down on sodium. I don't really use a lot, so I use garlic pepper. So I was just putting on the garlic pepper, and I put it in, and I'm doing just a slow roasted elk steak for later for dinner, and that's part of, in the healing and the self-care when you plan your day. And I have a good example of, my leaning, I call them my leaning tree family, but they're my iron pipe and my Fitzgerald family. Yesterday, we trained all day on Zoom, so we didn't end till 5, and we get breaks, but I just said to myself, man, I just gotta, so I called up my family. I said, hey, you got any rib steaks? You got any rib steaks? And Paula, she said, yeah, we do. I said, well, I'm coming over. So I always do that. So they start, I head that way. And this has to do with bringing the joy back in your life. And so there was, a lot of customers, because now, the tourists are starting to come in. There was just the good weather, and everyone can get a good cheeseburger there. Everyone could get a patty melt, or they can get this ribeye steak. But then my friend, and I consider she's like my sister. I've known her. I knew her mother. Her mother and my mother were friends. They were firefighters. They learned to cook for 400 people. They were camp. They took care of the camp. So anyway, she was tired, and so then I just sat with her, and I said, your eyes look tired. You need to do something joyful. And the family must have been thinking the same thing. So next thing, I was eating my steak, watching, and then, Doug knows me, so he puts on Last of the Dogmen. And I was just like enthralled watching Last of the Dogmen. But they came, and he goes, Mom, let's go for a ride. And his daughter was there, Josie, and yeah, let's go for a ride. So, they have some really nice horses, and they go, and the mom said, I haven't been on a horse in 4 years, and she grew up riding, and they go, that's okay. We're gonna put you on a barrel racing horse. And I looked at her and I go, do it. You get the fresh air. Let it run through your hair. It's like riding a bike. Just get on that horse and run with the fresh mountain air. Run with, with your granddaughter and your son. Do something. And then, I just saw that sadness go boing, and I saw her eyes get bright, and so she went and got on the right, she was looking for a jacket or what, something. She just started getting ready, and I just saw her instantly change. And I said, that's it. We just have to do joyful things, and they can be small or they can be big. They can be with our family. We just have to do joyful things that give our heart healing, that give our, it's just like, starting, I've been smudging for Wade, and I was, I have my smudge box over there and stuff, but I just thought, I'm just going to light sweetgrass, so here I'm just going to light this root, this bear root, this omagussus, and I'm just going to send out a prayer, not only to him, but to all our native men, to all our native grandfathers, to all our native grandmas, to all of our aunties and uncles, and to those who are struggling, that they find peace, that they find serenity, that they start making that gratitude list, and sometimes when it's going tough, start making that gratitude list. It's just like, once I had gotten this tie, and I saw it hanging up there on my dance dress, I just go, oh my God, I should just wear that when I dance instead of a breastplate. I should just, and it's, of course, it's old ancient beads, and then it's got like the weasel track, and of course these stars, and I was just saying, God, this feels so good. This was made in a way. Put something on. Wear your favorite t-shirt. Yesterday, the shirt I wore was not today colonizer, and not today colonizer, woo-hoo! Or whatever your shirt needs. I always think of the crazy shirts, because when I went to treatment one of my my boyfriend at the time, he bought me this shirt, and it said, "Instant asshole, just add alcohol." And that was true. That's, if for those of you who don't know, I just celebrated 37 years, drug and alcohol free. And I mean, I don't, it's not, I drugs and alcohol, and no mind altering. I'm not even, I don't smoke cigarettes. Wow. I don't drink coffee. Wow. I never thought that happened in Sundance. But I've been doing this for 37 years, and the other day it overwhelmed me. I go, "Oh my God. I just how did that happen?" Well, rather than ask, whying is dying, I just started doing the gratitude list. I encourage you just to go to the gratitude list. Then I just started being grateful for, my house. My house is paid off. Being grateful for, I'm growing some tobacco. I have plans to grow some corn, and I'm even going to try to grow California sage, because in Bishop, California, they gave us some seeds, and so I'm going to try. I'm going to grow more medicine inside. Medicine grows all the way around, but I just want to grow things so that my home is filled with the life of medicine. And so so even that, do the other gratitude lists. And I don't have perfect health, no way, but I just say I'm glad my heart is beating. I'm glad my kidneys are working. I'm glad my feet can walk. I'm glad I'm in no pain. Just those. And then start naming the people that you're grateful. Be grateful for your animals. If you have a dog or a cat, be grateful for them and talk to them every day, telepathically or with words. Tell them you love them. I tell my pet foxes, Kistu ikagapi sinapa, buksaput. And they've been taking a walk with me sometimes, or they won't come. They're still wild. They still have the den. But we have a relationship. So start praying for your animals, and then pray. This is a good one. I started praying for all the animals that I did have and that are gone now, but how good it was when we had that relationship. So Nuxkamapi Old Crow, Sam Iron Pipe, a Geekawan Iron Pipe. Of course, they'll have, Blackfeet names. And then Okon Iron Pipe, it'll be pretty soon here. Wow, it's coming up. It'll be 3 years since I lost my favorite puppy. And I still call him a puppy. He was aggressive, but I didn't realize how much I depended on him for being safe in the woods and just being, and he slept outside in the igloo till the very end. And how much, and even during COVID, every time I was doing something in COVID, there was Okon going with me. And then when he started to sleep inside, so I started to name all, and so that's the animals, the four-legged. Start to name, and this is like the self-forgiveness. Start to name all the relationships. If you made a baby with someone, be grateful for that person, that the magic at that time, it doesn't mean it's current, that at that time, Creator let you and gifted you a baby, a child with a beating heart that can live for 100 years. So go through all your relationships. And, like this morning I was saying, I really appreciated Tom Trimble, and he passed in 2014. I really appreciated Zeke Zalonis. He lives in the Philippines. He got one of those mail order brides. But I just had gratitude for everything that we went through. I really gave gratitude for Manuel Ramos. I gave gratitude for other boyfriends and things that didn't work out, that it was good while it was there. Say those things. And then, even on our Zoom, be grateful for your coworkers. the ones in the past, the ones current, and what they taught you. Because even if even if it was a rough go, or what are the things that you did together, say their name, be grateful for them. And then, one of the things of gratitude, and this is the beauty of gratitude, be grateful for the future. Because we always say pray for the 7 generations, pray 10 generations. Be grateful for your coworkers for the next 10 years. You haven't even met them yet, but be grateful that you will meet them, and that you'll connect, and there's interdependence, and that you get to work together, that you get to learn. There's that interdependence where you learn from each other, that there's abundance. And that's one of the prayers of gratitude, is to pray for abundance. Like right now, this water, you can drink out of this lake. I always pray that there's drinkable water for everyone on the globe. It comes, and I always pray for the water people spirits at the 4th level, and different in the ocean, that they get poisoned, that there's cleansing, that there's renewal, that there's abundance of of kindness. That kindness, just they always say in program that just do the next right thing. And so as you're thinking of what the next right thing, just do it. Just help, small things, help the elder cross the street, help the elder with their grocery cart, help and just do the next right thing. So welcome to Wellness Wednesday. This is Native Wellness Institute. We come to you every week, and we try to just uplift you. And in this uplifting, sometimes how we see things. I just wanted to talk a little bit, always with our Jolene Joseph and our whole team. We always say, are they looking through a trauma lens? Are they looking through a healing lens? Because who you are is what you see. And if, like an example with through a trauma lens, we may only be seeing the trauma. And not seeing the resiliency, not seeing the other side. It's like, sometimes there was even this comment, talking, about gossip. When you talk about someone, pretend they're right beside you. But you can also say to someone, man, I just really care for you. I really love you. 90% of what you do is great. But there's this, and then mention, but there's that one part, we were laughing because that one part where you're farting and burping, or that one part where you're snorting or whatever, something, we don't like that part. So do it somewhere else. Don't do it around me. No, anyway, we're, why do we always laugh about farts? And it's like, everyone, average person farts 13 times a day, and it's something natural, and you need to do it. It's just like everybody poops. Gene Vagabond hasn't done that, but he reads his book, Everybody Poops, It's just like, so be grateful for the relationships, be grateful for the places you lived, be grateful for the vehicles you owned, be grateful for the relationships you have, because all of those are what has made you today. Be grateful for them. And that's looking through a healing lens. A healing lens, rather, we're being trauma informed. Rather than looking, thinking it's the worst case scenario, look at post-traumatic growth instead of post-traumatic stress. And in that post-traumatic growth, you see it all the time. I was so privileged this week to go to a sober people's gathering, And there was some grandmas there at 54 years. There was another grandma with 40 years, another grandpa with 40 years, another one with 35 years. And then there was our people who only had 23 days, 28 days. And it was about everyone wrote down how much time they had, and everyone got a coin, and they spoke. And they wanted the ones who had more time to give encouraging words to those who had only 23 days. It was just the best. It was like just such a beautiful gathering. And then the host, they made really good food. You know, Blackfeet food, I haven't tasted that. It's they used to call it tater tot casserole. It's where you make like a good hamburger gravy, and then you put all these tater tots on top, and then you melt cheese. My brother Ira used to make that because he had to cook for his big family, and when they didn't have a lot of money. But I hadn't tasted that, and when I tasted it, I go, this tater tot casserole tastes so good, so good. And then there was barbecue chicken, and then I think Danny made some noodle, like an Asian salad. Oh, that was good. So they made food. And then it was kind of interesting because the host, he just took the smudge and he kept passing it around. And it would go around and everybody would smudge, and then he'd wait a little while and then he'd pass that smudge around, and everyone just helped. We all helped each other just keep smudging while people were talking. And we could identify, and we could say, for the grace of God, there go I. And I don't know, I got just, so this gratitude and this uplifting, you know, and here we are. And, you know, today it's some kind of deadline. You're supposed to have real IDs. Shoot, if you have a passport, get your passport. Get your passport for your whole family so you can travel around. You know, and I wanna give a shout out to all the relatives in Alberta. It's okay. I've been going back and forth, no problem, across the border. Just I use a passport. That's all I've ever used is a passport. Now my third passport. I've been going back and forth, but if there's like they want us not to be together right now. And if you're, you know, the settlers, if that's what, if they, you know, I just say, hey, come across. And so I'm really, my prayers were that all our relatives would come down for the ceremonies, and all of us could go up for the ceremonies, and that all of us could just have respect and appreciate each other, because we're a confederacy, you know. And if you think about now, you know, there has been this abrupt, you know, since the election in November, and now this abrupt fear base. Don't let it into your skin. Don't let it into your heart. Don't let it affect you and your family. It's just like, you know, I was texting with the Crazy Dog brother, and he goes, yeah, we're building the sweat today. So I was just, and he's home from a vacation from FEMA. We're just doing 13 tragedies he's worked on, and he's just home. And today I just said, that's what he needs to be doing, building a sweat. Be grateful that you can build a sweat. Be grateful you know how to put it together. Be grateful, you know, that you take a break and you get to visit together, that you're preparing to pray. And I think the sweat's tomorrow. And so I just, you know, I always ask for prayers and thank people for prayers. I just said, can you please pray for our coworker, Wade McGee? Can you please pray for my mom? Because, you know, my mom's 86 going on. Can you pray for my sister Lori? Can you pray for me? Please, you know, please say a prayer for me. And you know what he said? Always, because he's always, this is the one brother, he said, I've always prayed for you. And I just, always prayed for me, no matter what's going on, good, bad, ugly, always. So, you know, when you include everyone, all your relatives, all your kinship, name them. I was just, you know, our first cousins, we had 65 first cousins at the beginning of COVID, and some have passed. So we need to pray for your cousins. Pray for your aunties. Pray for your uncles. Pray for your daughters. Pray for your sisters. Pray for your great, 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 great grandparents. Because, just think it was them, and as they came down, that they prayed for you. You're walking on your ancestors' prayers. Woohoo! We're walking on our ancestors' prayers. Oh my God, I just think about that. Our ancestors prayed, and here we are. And now, we can come on this Facebook Live, Native Wellness Institute. Thank you to coming to Wellness Wednesday. We can come on here and share words that uplift, that help us live good life, that help us be together. Because you never feel alone when you have the faith and the trust of Ishtabatabil. And I think about that now because, even I had a heavy heart over Wade. And I still have a heavy heart, and I pray, and you have to have faith. So before we came on, I went out and I got some Pastascon, some tobacco in my truck. And I just held it up, and just said, please be merciful. Please let him have a long, healthy life. And, just cried a little bit, and I put out the tobacco. Then it is about the faith. And what is that faith? What is it to be? It's the opposite of having doubt. And I just want to, one of the things that I want to give a plot out to Alvine Mountain Horse and Narcissus Blood. And 10 years ago, Alvine Mountain Horse and Narcissus Blood, Jim McNeely had brought them down. They were talking about doubt. That doubt was something that we never had as Blackfoot. We never had doubt. And so don't have doubt. So, so I went and put out the tobacco and then roll up your sleeves and do what you're supposed to do. I have to get back on the Zoom in a little bit. We have all of our registered, but I just wanted to kind of walk outside with you. As always, this is look at Divide Mountain. Divide Mountain is one of the places that a lot of our people would fast, and there's Buxy grizzly bear dens right up there. And then look at the water. That's the water I was speaking of. The gratitude of the fresh glacier water. Come visit. Stay at Leaning Tree. They have affordable places you can stay. And look at how clear the water is. You can see the rocks. This was frozen. Even when it's frozen. I'll say I walk on water when it's frozen. Anyway, just look at the beauty. I just kind of wanted to walk you out here. Look at the color. The tree. Look at all the trees are budding. They're all budding. Pretty soon, one of the things that you'll start to see here is glacier lilies. There's crocus. Oh, just a beautiful purple crocus. Some people use that for a smudge. You can put out some tobacco to the crocus. You can, the glacier lilies, Wilbur Fish always taught us, he said, this will really help your bodies just to eat the glacier lilies. Go out and eat them for breakfast. So that's what I do is I walk along here. And Alex Gladstone was telling us that this is the old wagon trail. Maybe the old Northwest Trail right here behind my house. This pathway goes all the way up, and it's kind of skinny and gnarly and bumpy. And I go, wow, I wish I could go back, 200 years ago, 100 years ago. Go outside. Kick off your shoes. Go outside. Or buy open toe shoes, go get a pedicure. I went up to Lethbridge and I got a pedicure. There's been a lot of men in there. It's kind of interesting. and they kind of, first, look at him, and I always just smile and kind of wave, because usually men don't get pedicures, but they were getting pedicures. Get a pedicure. You wear open toe. Take a swim. I haven't jumped in yet. But I was thinking, and usually because it's pretty chilly. It's glacier water. It doesn't warm up till like maybe beginning of July. So I was just thinking, man, I get it. That's the most refreshing, just to jump in, and it's cold as heck. Have your towels ready and warm up, but just to go in to cleanse off. And every time you take a shower, ask the water to clean you off. From your soft spot to the tip of your head. Ask the water. Take a bath. I'm a bath person. Just taking a bath. Just take that bath and have the water clean you off, and to do renewal, and to do the self-care, and to do the self-forgiveness. Just all of those kind of things. And don't tolerate people who gaslight. Don't tolerate people who stalk you. Don't tolerate people who gossip about. Don't tolerate them. Go find new friends. Don't put up with that. And so as I'm sitting here, and I up that way, there's a lot of sweet pine trees. I'd harvested some sweet pine. I'm drying it and I'm cleaning it. I'm just getting ready for, it's springtime. My mom wants to go take a ride because she has her favorite spots where she gets sage, and she goes, I want to be nosy and go check out. I want to be nosy, and I want to go check the plants. I want to be nosy. I want to see if we're going to have good berries this year. I want to be nosy. I want to get the Meneguppy. I'm going to want to go be nosy and go get the fresh peppermint. I want to be nosy. I just want to go and check out all the plants. We got grandfather root, cow parsnip here. We've just got so much different kinds of medicine here. Wilbur Fish always would say the strawberry plants, the strawberry leaves, the little, wild strawberries. They're kind of little. They're not like big like these strawberries, but they're really little. Ooh, they taste so good. They're so pungent. It's like they'll correct everything, especially in the female body. If your cycle is off, or, your hormones. And I was just thinking, that might be helpful with some of our transgender loved relatives, is that strawberry medicine to help, with as they go through their change in a good way, because sometimes it can be emotionally so abrupt. But I'm winding down. Make a gratitude list and write it. Write your gratitude list. I have a journal in there where just write the first 3, 4, 5 things that you can think of. And don't judge yourself. Just write what you're grateful for. Like I'm really liking this tie, and I don't know why, because it's like the old Cheyenne rose. Look at the cut beads in here are pretty small, and I'm just I'm liking how it looks, because you just put on this tie and you're dressed up. and so I think I'm gonna end with that. Go into your closet and dig out the stuff where you're dressed up, where you look good, where you walk into the room and you're looking good. And and it's for yourself. When we'd put on our dance outfit, my mom always said, it's like you're getting dressed. It's like being married to Creator. Smudge your feathers. Get dressed slowly. Don't do it quickly. Smudge off all your beadwork. Smudge off your moccasins. Smudge off your eagle fans. Smudge your shawl. Just go to your closet. Go out and be vibrant. Go out and be sparkly. I went and got some body glitter. Lori got me some what they call unicorn snot. So I started, I want to put glitter on. put it on your dance outfit, or just put it on for no reason. You're gonna go, go to the graduation, just be all sparkly, throw some glitter on the graduate. Anyway, with that, welcome for listening for this hour. We're looking forward to Healing Together Conference in Colorado. Or thank you for the prayers for Wade McGee. Thank you for the prayers for yourself. Thank you for the prayers for you and your family. And I just wanted to come, and for some reason I just feel connected to everybody today. It's like, woohoo! You're looking good. You're feeling good. And Kitsikako, ma'am, just enjoy life. Enjoy the goodness. Enjoy the happiness. Enjoy, and do the forgiveness. Self-forgiveness. Let that other stuff go. Let go and let God. Let go. Anyway, until we see you next Wednesday, I really appreciate you. Native Wellness Institute, always go to www.nativewellness, and you can request anything from our team. So until I see you, Kitsikako mem. Love you very much.